I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video we will learn how to represent a tree diagram in a situation where we have some restrictions. The example is, in how many ways can a president, a secretary, and a treasurer be chosen from persons A, B, C, and D with following restrictions? The restrictions are that D cannot be president and either A or B must be treasurer. So that is the restriction for us. You need to make a tree diagram to find the number of possible ways, right? This is a very interesting question from counting principles. You can pause the video, copy the question, answer, and then look into my suggestions. Now the critical part here is to start with most restricted position. Now amongst the restrictions we are given D cannot be president. So there is one restriction for president. Either A or B must be treasurer. So treasurer is most restricted. Out of 4 persons, only 2 can be treasurer. So let's begin with selecting the treasurer first, right? We don't have much choice there. It's either A or B. So we'll start with treasurer. And after treasurer, we'll select the president, and then we will see who can be the secretary. So that is kind of the way to approach for making a tree diagram with restrictions. Okay, so let's see what do we get. So here we are given, to start with, we have 2 possible persons who could be treasurers, right? So these persons are A and B. So let me write down A and B here. So we have A or B as treasurers. Now once we have selected a treasurer, that means we have already selected one of these 2. So from these 2 we have selected one, and we know that D cannot be president. So for president this candidate is not there. So we have a choice between C and one of those which has not been selected, correct? So there are 2 possibilities here for president, right? So we'll write down both the possibilities one by one. So if I have selected A as a treasurer, then A cannot be president, right? Now either B can be president or C. So the choices are B and C for us. In the second case, if you select B as the treasurer, then B cannot be president. So A could be the president or C could be the president. And now let's look into the secretary. So out of 4 persons we have already selected 2. We are left with the other 2. So that gives us 2 options for secretary, right? So let me write down these 2 options with these arrows. For each we have 2 options. Is that okay? So these are the 2 options. Let me write down the person's name now. So if we have selected A, B, we are left with C or D. So the secretary could be C or D. If we select A, C, then we are left with B or D, right? So we are left with B or D. And if we have selected B, A, then we are left with C, D. If we select B, C, B and C, A and D are left. So A and D. So you could choose secretary from A or D, right? That's what we're trying to say. So now we can count the number of possible choices with the given restrictions. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So our answer here is equals to 8. So if we have restrictions, we can find 8 ways of selecting or choosing 3 persons from the 4 to make a group with president, secretary, and treasurer. You can also at this stage apply the multiplication, right? So we have 2 choices for secretary, and then we have 4 for president. When you times them, we get combinations which are 8 in all, right? So we get 8 in all combinations, right? You could do that, but this is a case where directly you cannot apply the multiplication rule. So in such cases where there are restrictions, start to make a tree diagram with the case most restricted and then move forward. That should help you to get the right answer. I hope that helps. I'm Anil Kumar, You can always share and subscribe my videos to learn a lot. Thank you and all the best.